My wife, Mira, always had a sharp tongue, but lately it had turned into something far uglier. At first, her jokes about me were harmless, light things she would say among friends. But slowly, those jokes turned into insults, and those insults turned into full public humiliation. I kept hoping she would realize what she was doing, but she never did. Instead, she made it worse every time we stepped outside the house. The night that finally broke me was at my best friend Sam's birthday dinner. It was supposed to be a fun evening. Everyone was there. Old friends, co-workers, even some people I barely knew but liked. I came prepared, wearing my best shirt and carrying a gift I had spent days thinking about. But the moment we walked in, Mira began her usual routine. She laughed loudly, pointing at my clothes. "Look everyone, he finally learned how to dress himself. I swear, some days I feel like I married a child." A few awkward chuckles went around the table, but I could see people exchanging glances. They knew she had crossed a line. Still, I stayed quiet, hoping she would stop. But she didn't. Halfway through dinner, out of nowhere, she stood up with her wine glass and tapped it gently. "Guys," she said, smiling as if she was about to say something sweet, "guess what? My husband can't even pay the electricity bill on time. I swear, I should get an award for raising him." My face burned. I felt the embarrassment climb up my neck. People didn't laugh this time. They just looked down at their plates, unsure what to do. Sam gave me a long look, and I excused myself to step outside. He followed me a minute later and placed a hand on my shoulder. "Why do you let her talk to you like that?" he asked quietly. I didn't have an answer. Maybe I kept hoping she would stop. Maybe I loved her too much to see reality. But that night, something changed in me. I decided that I would never allow her to humiliate me again. A few days later, Mira told me her company was hosting an annual award dinner. She was certain she would win Employee of the Year. She said it proudly, like she was royalty, then added sharply, "Please behave. I don't want you embarrassing me in front of my colleagues." The irony almost made me laugh. I didn't argue. I simply nodded and said, "Of course. It's your big night." She had no idea that I had discovered something she never expected me to find. A week earlier, while she showered, I heard a buzz in the drawer. It was her second phone, the one she claimed was for work emergencies. Curiosity made me open it. What I found inside felt like a punch to the gut. Messages from a coworker named Adrian. Flirty, secretive, and disrespectful. One message read, "Don't worry, he's too dumb to suspect anything." That line stayed with me. Not because she cheated, but because she thought I was stupid. I didn't confront her. I didn't scream or demand explanations. I simply saved everything, every message, every photo, every call log. Then I waited for her award dinner. The night of the event, Mira dressed like a queen. She had a glow of confidence that almost blinded me. At the venue, she introduced me to everyone with the same mocking tone she always used. "This is my husband," she told one coworker. "He's finally learning how to act in public." But I stayed calm. I waited. When the CEO took the stage and announced her name for Employee of the Year, she practically floated up the stairs. She smiled proudly, holding the award as if she had just saved the company from collapse. She took the microphone and began her speech. "Thank you all. I couldn't have done this without my team. And my husband is here too. I'm glad he didn't say anything embarrassing tonight." That was it. That was the line that told me it was time. I stood up and walked toward the stage. People murmured, unsure what was happening. The host handed me a microphone, and I spoke calmly, almost gently. "Mira," I said, "since you mentioned me in your speech, I want to congratulate you too." She looked confused, but she smiled anyway, expecting praise. I held up an envelope. "This contains your Employee of the Month photo from January. And all the messages you exchanged with Adrian during work hours. HR, the CEO, and the ethics department already have copies." The room went completely silent. Myra's smile disappeared instantly. Adrian, sitting near the stage, froze in his chair. Someone whispered loudly, "Isn't Adrian married?" A woman stood up from another table, his wife. Her face was red with anger. Chaos erupted. People gasped, HR rushed forward, the CEO grabbed the envelope, and Adrian's wife stormed toward him. Mira stared at me, pale and shaking, her award clutched in her hands like it weighed 100 pounds. I didn't stay to watch the full explosion. I simply stepped off the stage and walked out. By morning, both Mira and Adrian were suspended. By the end of the week, they were fired. Her family called me, apologizing for her behavior. Even her friends admitted they had seen her change. I filed for divorce quietly. When she came to my door crying, begging me to listen, I simply said, "You loved humiliating me in public. Now the truth has humiliated you. We're done." And I closed the door, finally free.